speaking of Culkin, do you remember that Macaulay used to date Mila Kunis?
I remember that. And they did it for a while. Like, I thought, in fact, when I'm still shocked that Mila Kunis ended up with Ashton Kutcher, because I thought Mila and Macaulay Culkin were just going to be together forever, because he was with her when she wasn't the biggest star and they were just around each other for so long.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw YouTube page, guys. We're happy to have you here. Make sure you like, subscribe, leave us comments, do all the stuff.
What are you waiting for? Let's go. I got a drug addiction to feed.
Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. My name is Adam Glyn. Over there, the only person that wasn't invited to Michael Rubin's white party is over there, Dax Holt. How are you, sir?
Oh, man, I'm pretty sad I didn't get the invite.
How did you not get invited this year? I got invited. You didn't.
You know what? I wasn't white enough.
Yeah. It's, what's so weird, dude? So when I saw the photos, all right, I was not there. In fact, I even applied for it to be a valet, and they even said, "Yeah, no, we don't want you in the Hamptons. We're actually gonna raise your toll, so you can't afford to even come to the Hamptons." But there was a lot of people who didn't wear all white to the white party, which they're not talking about, which it's like kind of ruins it. And I'm surprised they even let them in.
Who didn't wear all white?
It wasn't like celebrities. It was like random people. Like, I'm like, why would you let them in? If they're not wearing white, you can't let them in. That's
that's weird.
Feeling. But you know what the thing is too about this all white party? Well, I mean, guys, if you've been living on the rock, Michael Rubin, who is the owner of Fanatics, he's a billionaire. He had this all white party in the Hamptons. He's done it the last 2 years. And it's very celebrity driven. It's a very hard party to get into. You have to be invited in. Drake is there, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Tom Brady. I'm throwing Gayle King on there. But so it's like Bon Jovi, Kenny Chesney, Robert Kraft. You have all these kind of different types of celebrity there. A lot of moguls and billionaires there.
But here's my question, Adam. Are these people actually friends with Michael Rubin, or they just want to be around money because he's a billionaire? Like, how did he become friends with all of these people?
Money.
Just because he's rich?
He's money and he spends it, I think. I think a lot of the people are interested and curious about this guy, and he throws the party, and I don't think he's friends with all of them. But at the end of the day, this is a commercial for Fanatics. This is a commercial from Michael Rubin. And I think that's what people need to realize with this. Like, yeah, of course, we'd love to be there. But at the end of the day, this is a commercial for him and his brand. Because a lot of people still don't know what he is. After the party, there was a press release sent to every single media outlet of who was there. Here's the photos you could use. Here's some gossip that happened at the party.
Yeah.
That's what people don't realize that comes with the party.
Do me a favor. I want you to Google Megan Fox at the white party. I'm going to give you a second, along with everyone else that's listening. So I want you to Google Megan Fox. Why does she look so different? I cannot put my finger on why she looks different in these photos.
Do you think she looks good?
She looks great, but I don't know why she looks different. Like, I literally have looked over the photos and I'm like, is it because it's a more natural look? Is it because she's done something? I cannot figure it out. But do you see her face?
Yeah. Well, here's what you should know is, I think first off that, again, I am not a stylish person by any means, but I think she looks good. I think it's not just the face, and she has been a little bit outspoken or has spoken about plastic surgery in the past. Mm-hmm. She's been very for it, and she's like, yeah, this is stuff I've done and this stuff I want to do. I don't think it's just the face. I think it's the hair. And when you see her in a lot of other times, she has extensions making her hair look very thick. Mm-hmm. In these photos, her hair is very thin and very short. And
again,
so it's not
I repeat,
volume.
She looks great. I almost wouldn't Like if she walked past me dressed like this, I almost wouldn't think Megan Fox though. And I think that's why it's throwing me off. Maybe it's just she doesn't have all the makeup going for her or whatever, but she kind of just looks like, your average California girl rather than like Megan Fox. I don't know. And I just couldn't tell if she did something to her face or it's the makeup thing. Cause you know how makeup can transform someone, like absolutely transform someone, where you're used to seeing them so done up and then they don't come done up and you're like, oh wow, you are a different person under there.
Yeah, well, I think the hair, it's not, for me at least, I think it's the hair looks different. It looks like the hair, she did it herself, which there's nothing wrong with that. But in the past, you see her at red carpets and she has, extensions in it, making her hair look
she has a glam squad. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe she's just not as glammed up and I'm not used to seeing that Megan Fox.
I'll tell you what, every time I've met Megan Fox, and I'm not friends with her, I've been around her, I've met her a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very nice, very cool, very chill. Shocked at how cool she was. And I say that just because in my head I built up this illusion of her thinking that she would not be nice, that she would be sort of nasty. And in fact, she was the exact opposite. She was
I've heard
insanely
very
nice
nice
and very
things
sweet
about her. And for any of the ladies listening to the podcast, if you can give us some insight onto what your opinion is, why she looks different, hit us up on the private Facebook group, Off the Record. I'm just curious. And again, there is no hate whatsoever going towards Megan Fox right now. Simply curious, simply throwing it out there because I stared at the photos for so long and I just couldn't figure it out. I normally can figure stuff out like this and I couldn't do it this time. So love to hear someone else's opinion.
There's also, we've debated, and I don't know, let us know if you'd be interested in having this person on the podcast, but we've talked to a few celebrity plastic surgeons and estheticians, whatever, I don't know if that's even the word, but people that work on celebrity who have more knowledge when it comes to celebrities who get work done and what they do. Now, because of legalities, they can't talk about what exact work they do on the people unless the person comes forward and said, this doctor did this to me.
A couple people on. Didn't we have like Dr. 90210 or Dr. Miami or
we had
something?
Dupree, I don't know, one of the botch guys. But we could also, if you guys would be interested in hearing what people are doing these days as far as in Hollywood for their appearance, let us know. I mean, that's something Dax and I have been very interested in. I mean, for males especially, because men don't talk about it. But if you guys are interested in what the trends are in plastic surgery for celebrities, we've been talking to some doctors. We've just been on the fence. Would our audience like it? Would you be interested? Let us know if you'd be interested in that. Back to this white party, Dex.
Okay.
Is this something? I got a little bit of details regarding this party that some other people are not talking about. But is this party something like, would you be like, oh my God, I need to go into this party? Like, how much are you like foaming at the mouth that you'd love to go to this white party?
I mean, I think it would be a fun experience. I feel though that I would feel very out of place. It's just one of those situations where I'm like, this is clearly, I shouldn't be here. People are going to look at me like, what the hell is it? How did this guy get in here? I've been in a lot of situations where it's like a Hollywood event, and because I'm so known from TMZ, the association with TMZ and me, they look at me like I'm there just to get information, right? Like it is what it is. I've been to so many parties and people look at me and they're like, oh, you're here to just get dirt. I'm like, no. I'm here because I'm either an invited guest or I'm here with a celebrity or whatever the case is. I'm not here to do a report. And I've been gone from TMZ for so many years, but that's just what happens because of the association. So I feel that in this situation, also people would look at me and go, he's just trying to get information on us.
Yeah, I only had one time that I wasn't allowed in some place because of, at the time I was with TMZ and it was at a party and they're like, they recognized me. I was like, hey man, I'm on vacation. I'm here just to kind of hang out. They wouldn't let me in. No, but
that's the problem. They're not going to associate vacation. They're just going to.
Well, then I complained to the management because I was a paying customer. I was like, guys, I'm really on vacation days. And then I got a free room for the night because I was like, hey, I planned my trip around this Vegas. So that was good. But the party itself, you're right. I mean, there's so much money in a place like that. But when you go in there, if you're in that kind of environment, people think you made it too. And they might not know who you are, but if you're in that room and you're wearing all white, they're like, oh, this guy deserves to be here, because it isn't, there's not a lot of plus ones at this party. So, for example, Drake's not there with his entourage. It's Drake and maybe, 2 people part of his team that are worthy of being there. It's not his bodyguards. It's not his publicist. There's no red carpet on there. However, there is a professional photographer taking photos, and they're going to put it on Instagram. They know what they're doing. Again, that's the commercial of it. I mean, who knows how much this party cost? But I will say there's this place, Dax, in Brooklyn called Lucali. And it's like one of the most famous pizza places, one of the most famous restaurants in New York. Jay-Z and Beyonce go there. I mean, David Beckham goes there, and it's a small little pizza place where the guy rolls out the pizza dough with these bottles of wines, like a bottle of wine, and people go line up. They don't take reservations, but people line up at this restaurant starting at 2:00 just to get in there. If you're a celebrity, you could kind of they have a garden where you could kind of a back garden where you could kind of, if you're a celebrity, you can kind of go out into the back garden and have your own little private sort of space. But they had Lucali, the chef, out at the Hamptons making pizzas for everyone, and and it's one of the best pizzas around. So it's crazy, how much they put into this food. There's one thing I did hear about this party that, and please don't clip this. We cannot clip this, but because I cannot make this go. Shit, you can't clip this, Dax. Okay, no, I'm serious.
You can't clip it out. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
okay.
From what I was told, that Travis Scott took the DJ booth and basically kind of took over, and people were kind of not into his music per se. They just weren't into his kind of energy. And at that top part of the party, people started to kind of leave the party early. And Travis Scott just took over the DJ booth, and people were kind of uncomfortable with it just because he just kind of ruined the flow or the energy of the party. Does that, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So
I mean, I've been at parties where I didn't like the music and I got over it. So maybe that's kind of the same situation.
Yeah, no, people didn't get over it. They left.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of people who still did stay, but there was a good amount of people who left when Travis Scott kind of kept going and kept going, just didn't read the room of the party and kind of killed the vibe of it a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Interesting. Don't
clip that, because the person who told me this, who's at the party, will kill me for telling that on the podcast. No, what else happened this? Yeah, what do you say?
I think my biggest problem with the white party is that I don't look good in all white. I am too pasty. I just become one gigantic white blur. So all photos, too much flash. You're not even going to see me. It's all going to be like a white haze. I don't have the tan. I would need a good week in Barbados before I could actually go to the white party and look decent.
So you need to go there a glow, a tan.
I need a legit tan, because white doesn't look good on me. It's too much.
You know what the problem with me is?
White.
This would be my issue going to the white party. When I'm done peeing, I always put my penis back in my pants way too quick, so I dribble a little bit. And I think a little bit of my dribble would go on the pants, and people would start seeing the yellow spots on the pants. I'm always quick to put it back, and there's always a few drops that would just make it. And no one was like, dude, you got some yellow drops on your pants, dude, and that's not from the pizza.
Adam, this is the white party, not the white and yellow party. So we're gonna need you to go. Oh my God, you're ridiculous. What were you gonna say? You're gonna say something else that happened this week?
No, have you ever been to an all white party?
No.
I feel like every party you go to is all white. Dax, you live in Orange County.
That was a good one.
No, it was just the other thing. I don't even know what time you texted me. I think it was randomly. It was either during the day randomly or something like that. You text me and you go, all right, I'm over Jojo Siwa. Whatever she's doing. And I'll actually read you what you sent me, because I was just what? I was just so caught off guard by what are you talking about? You go, Jojo Siwa is too much. She needs to chill the F out. It's obnoxious. That's all. Carry on with your day. And I'm like, so what about Jojo
just random
Siwa?
thoughts with Dax.
What about Jojo Siwa is annoying you that much? Is it just
Dude, it was
too much?
It was the latest thing. She was on stage performing. She had like teddy bears on her boobs. She had teddy bears in her hair. She was then doing the like fireball, take a swig of fireball. And it's like, I feel that she's just trying so hard to like not be the bow girl that it's like too much for me. I don't know. I feel like someone could be a very talented singer or performer. And again, there were times where I felt like Lady Gaga. I was like, oh wow, this is too much. But I felt like there was a performance behind it. There was a performance art behind it. This, I feel that JoJo's like, what can I put on that's just going to be even more ridiculous just to make people talk? Not that there's like a performance or there's an art behind it. It's just, I want to look crazy and I want to be in your face and I want to drink fireball and I want to be nutso. Like that's, and I just like, can we calm it down just a little bit? Like you're overdoing it so that people won't even be able to hear your music or your song or appreciate it because you're becoming more than like the music itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Do you think what Jojo Siwa is doing now, is it business, is it strategy, or is it just her not even getting it that she's the punchline of the joke?
No, I think there's a strategy, somewhat of a strategy behind it, and that is you need to shed your, dance mom kind of persona, and you need to become, an adult. Because we've seen this with Miley Cyrus, we've seen it with Justin Bieber, we've seen it with Britney Spears. Like, there's a moment where they have to transition in the public eye to becoming the adult or the sex symbol or whatever it is. And I think that's what she's doing, is she's trying to shed that image. I feel like it's like too much.
Yeah. I think she knows that she's cringe. I think it's a smart. I actually think this is what JoJo's doing is simple chess, where today day and age, like if you look at some of the stream celebrities, reality stars, the social media stars, you have to be cringe. And because cringe is what sort of attracts people. So when you see her pop on your algorithm, you stop and watch that video because you want to see what she does next, because it's so socially uncomfortable. When I see her taking a fireball shot and she looks so much like a nerd doing it, it's like, like I don't think you think this is cool. And you, in your head, you build it up to think it's so cool, and it's so not cool the way she does it.
And then I'm like, are you actually
New York City doing her dance move? Like that dance move is so bad. It's like it's so bad that it's actually fun to watch.
And then I'm like, did you actually take the swig of fireball? Or are you just pretending? Like, I can't get it. But again, I guess it's working. We're sitting here talking about her for 5 minutes. So if she's planning this whole thing out, it's to get people to talk, and we are doing it. We've fallen for it. So I guess good for her.
Well, even like, so did you see when she turned 21, it was like apparently the first time she ever got drunk, that she
she
went to
like
Disney World with her.
Yeah.
Disney World. And I was like, first of all, like getting drunk at Disney World is so weird. And she was, I don't know. I was always like, when I'm drunk, Dax, I don't like kind of act up. In fact, I kind of shut off a little bit, because I was always, I thought it was so corny, the people that try to be, oh my God, alcohol loosens me up so much. Now I could be like, act like an idiot. I just never turned into that guy. But she turned into that girl where it's like, oh, I'm drunk. Now I could be even more obnoxious. I'm like, nah, that's not cool. And I don't know. I don't know. But Dude, it's fun. I enjoy
the more I think about it, maybe she's brilliant. We're talking about her right now. We would have never been talking about Jojo Siwa on this podcast at this moment had she not strapped teddy bears to her boobs and taken a shot of fireball on stage. Like, maybe you're right. The cringe works. People like it. People are attracted to it. And we have fallen for it once again. And we haven't even read a review. I just realized we didn't even read a review today.
All right.
Should we do that real fast?
Let's do it.
Better late than never. All right.
Do it.
This one comes from That's a Great Place to Hide a Dead Body. All right. 5 stars. Love this podcast. You guys continue to knock it out of the park. Factual and entertaining. Always look forward to a new episode drop. Keep up the great work. Oh, that is a great review.
Appreciate
Thank you. And I hope you find a great place to hide that body. All right. All right. There we go. What do you want to talk about? We literally we got on here and we've just rambled for the last 20 minutes.
I haven't talked in a while. I figured I wanted to talk about the white party. In fact, I don't think the white party was as big this year. It's sort of like, I feel like next year you need some new names there. Other than that, like nobody cares. Like it's like, how many times can you do the white party and see the photos of who was there?
Is this actually Michael Rubin's house, or is this a rental home that they just use?
This is his house.
That's his house.
This is his house. Yeah. But something we want to talk about, I actually brought it up to you, was celebrities who hooked up that we didn't even know like hooked up, or maybe forgot about who hooked up.
You know what it was? It was because you texted me the other day if I remembered that Chris Evans and Jessica Biel dated. And it blew my mind because I had completely forgotten that back in like 2001, those two were a couple. Like I literally deleted that relationship from my head altogether, even though they started dating in 2001, did 2 movies together. I think they did London and Cellular, and then called it quits in 2006. That's a long relationship that I've removed just because when I think Jessica Biel, I think Justin Timberlake, right? Yeah. Like I don't associate her ever with Chris Evans. So when you texted me that, I was like, oh, damn.
Isn't it weird we forgot about it? They dated. And when they dated, we all knew about it, but it wasn't like a secret, but you forget that those two.
Why do some people stick in your brain, even if it like, okay, Chris Evans and Jessica Biel, they dated for years and I have wiped it clear. Yet Taylor Swift and Harry Styles went for a walk around Central Park, and that sticks in my head forever.
Photo. But you remember that photo? It's the photo.
It's because it's the most set up fake relationship photo ever.
You said it, not me, because now the Swifties are going to come after you saying you're ruining.
No, even Swifties know that was like a publicity stunt. I don't think that's anything. Think so? Yes, but it was good for.
Realize it?
Yeah, it was good for both of their careers. Like this is not something new in Hollywood. People go out to be seen together quite often. They'll go to movie premieres or whatever. It works for the relationship. It works for the PR. It works for the aura of the celebrity itself. So, but I think that was like a pretty well documented, this was a good setup. I mean, I may still get killed by Swifties, but it is what it is.
So who was someone else, Dax, another couple that you either forgot about or didn't know were actually hooking up or did hook up?
Okay, so I looked into it because this got me thinking, but Emma Stone, do you remember she dated Macaulay Culkin's brother, Kieran Culkin?
No.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yep. They did a film together. It was called Paperman, and this was back like 2009, 2010 era that the two of them started dating. And I just remember, oh yeah, because I associated him obviously so much with Macaulay. And then I'm like, oh, and Emma was obviously, her star was starting to really rise around that time. And so I just remember being like, oh wow, like she's dating Macaulay's brother. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, Emma Stone, I mean, I didn't know that they actually dated. You know what's so funny? I saw Emma Stone walking in New York City not too long ago, and I saw her like in a weird random area, and she gave me those looks where I knew who she was. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you understand that flow? Like
that double glance of like, oh, man, I think.
Yeah, he knows who I am. Yeah, and she was.
By the way, Emma Stone might be one of my favorite people in Hollywood. I think she is one of the coolest people. I've never met her, so this is me thinking she's cool based on whatever interaction that I've seen her with, either interviews or with camera people or whatever. I just think she's cool. Tell me she's cool. Have you had an interaction with her?
Very cool, very nice, very sweet. but you have to get her in the right circumstance. Like, she's not a paparazzi person, so she doesn't really like to be paparazzied. However, I've met her a couple times, and very nice, very cool. In fact, I remember this past year, she was leaving a Knick game, and she was coming out the celebrity door, but nobody knew who she was, or they're waiting for other people. That wasn't like her audience, and she was trying to get through the crowd, and she's with her husband. And I noticed they were trying to get through.
Every crowd is an Emma Stone crowd. She's so famous.
Yeah, not outside a Knicks game when they're waiting for Cameron and they're waiting for Carmelo Anthony. Yeah, they're not. It's a different audience.
It's Emma freaking Stone, though.
We're talking about the New York Knicks. These guys couldn't give two shits about Emma Stone, right, Dax? So anyway, she's trying to get through the crowd, and she saw that I knew who she was, and I was like, hey, and I kind of like made like like with my body, it kind of made like a gap in this crowd so she could get through, and she saw, and she's like, she grabbed my arm, she looked me up, she like made sure she could see she was in my face, so like she knew like I was there,
acknowledged you,
in front of, acknowledged me, and she goes, hey, thank you, like that was really cool, thank you very much, like because she knew I was like trying to help her out, and I thought that was really sweet. But you know what's anytime she does a movie, I always watch it because I just feel like she usually hits it out of the park when she picks a role. It's usually a good film, and she's great. I mean, she makes remember the movie Scarlet A? Like, she made that movie good.
That was like her big. That's when I like really started to notice who she was, and I don't know if that was her breakout role or whatever, but that was the moment I was like, this girl is awesome. And then I feel like when there's a star who's good at acting, but then really fun during interviews and like fun personality when you catch them on the red carpet, that's what I love. But I was also going to say, speaking of Culkin, do you remember that Macaulay used to date Mila Kunis?
I remember that. And they did it for a while. Like, I thought, in fact, when I'm still shocked that Mila Kunis ended up with Ashton Kutcher, because I thought Mila and Macaulay Culkin were just going to be together forever, because he was with her when she wasn't the biggest star and they were just around each other for so long. I think, to me, I still have an issue of them, like Ashton and Mila, ending up together. Does that make sense? I don't know if anybody else feels like that. Let me know if you write a comment in the page in our private Facebook group, Off the Record, if you still feel weird looking at Mila and Ashton Kutcher together, because they work together.
Didn't Mila and Macaulay go to Michael Jackson's funeral together? Wasn't that one of the big moments that they were actually seen out? Like, because again, he was crazy private, but I'm pretty sure that she accompanied like the big like service that was televised, not the one at Staples Center, but the one like at the cemetery.
That part I don't know. I and someone in the group is gonna be like, I did not know that she was at there.
I'm pretty sure that was them, or that was her, because they dated from like 2002 to 2011. He died 2009, so that would make sense that was the couple that showed up to the funeral.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense, because I'm looking up pictures right now and I see outfits of them both wearing black.
There you go.
So I'm assuming it was down at some sort of funeral. And again, they always stay very private, but for this one, I have to imagine. Yeah, Macaulay Culkin, Mila Kunis, and Michael Jackson's funeral service held at Glendale Forest Lawn Memorial Park, September 3rd, 2009. Yeah.
Someone the other day, one of the guys at my office, he comes up to me. He's like, and this was on June 25th. He goes, to June 25th, what happened on this day 10 years ago or whatever it was? And I'm like, Michael Jackson's death. He was like, how the fuck did you know that?
Wow.
I'm like, because that date is seared into my brain. I guess how many years ago would it? It wouldn't be 10, obviously 2009.
So when that day he died, were you pulling an all-nighter? Were you just working nonstop?
Oh yeah, it was nonstop, dude. From the second that we broke it in the office, then it was, I think I did like 23 live shots that day. And a live shot, for people who don't know, is like when you're sitting in front of the camera and like you see the newsroom behind you, but you're talking to Fox LA or Fox New York or whatever, and they're asking questions. That's a live shot, right? So I think I did like 25 that day, and then straight to the house that he had died at, and did like live shots outside for CNN and HLN and all these news shots that wanted to do it live in front of his house. Like, and then it was again the next day, I think we did 40 live shots, and it was just me sitting in the chair switching with Harvey all day doing live shots. It was wild.
Yeah. Another couple that I forget, well, I didn't forget, but I don't think people remember, and I just started remembering this week is they were performing in the area for me, was Alanis Morissette. And Alanis Morissette dated,
I remember.
and not even just got dated, got engaged to
Ryan Reynolds.
That's right. So Alanis Morissette. That
one I remember.
Yeah, but you know what? People don't. It's funny because when you look at Alanis Morissette, I'm like, wow, at one point, you know, it was more than 20 years ago now, but you were engaged to one of the biggest actors in the world. At that time, he wasn't the biggest actor. But
you also have to remember, Alanis Morissette was one of the biggest singers on the entire planet for a long time.
Yes, and at that time, though, she was the bigger star.
She was way more famous.
She was huge. Then. They met back in 2002. They met through Drew Barrymore, I think, at a party. They got engaged in 2004, and it was like, wow, Ryan Reynolds engaged to Alanis Morissette, but then they broke up. But I mean, that's.
I've got a crazier one that I think people really won't remember.
Who's that?
Emilia Clarke and Seth MacFarlane.
I forgot about that. I can't recall that Seth was even ever in a relationship with a celebrity. Was this the only celebrity he's been in a relationship with?
Yeah, they dated like 2012 through 2013. So it wasn't like crazy long. It was a good, you know, there's photos of them together at events and stuff like that. But then they ended up splitting up because it was like a long distance relationship. And she was obviously filming Game of Thrones in Europe. He's based here in LA doing all the like Family Guy stuff. So it just didn't work out. But I always found that relationship like just didn't see it coming. I don't know.
Well, I think we always remember like during Gossip Girl, like all those co-stars were hooking up with each other. I know Chase Crawford said that, you know, he didn't really get into it, but Jessica Zazora was with Ed Westwick. Penn Badgley was with Blake Lively. They're all hooking up with each other. So that was like a celebrity couple that we forgot about. Another one that, you know, when we sort of looked into this that we didn't know who dated was Simon Cowell and Carmen Electra. Did you know that they had a little fling? Yeah,
I didn't know that. This is news to me. I did not know that.
Well, the paparazzi got them kissing. Who knows how that happened, but they did go on a little date. Did they? You know, I wouldn't even say they.
When was this? Is there a year?
This was back during like when the early X Factor days. There was a photo of them hooking up, but Carmen Electra said, "Hey, we never dated. We didn't date, but it's weird. They did kiss."
Was it a publicity? Can we? Speaking of weird publicity kisses, do you remember the Terry Hatcher and Ryan Seacrest kiss?
Yeah, but what was that for? What did they kiss for?
They were supposedly dating. And this was way back, like early American Idol days, and they were seen out like by the beach, and it was the most awkward kiss. And I think it was when, you know, she was big on Desperate Housewives, American Idol was huge, and they were seen out kissing. I just remember that being such a what is happening right here?
Wow. Did you know, actually, because the Olympics are coming up, that there's this rumor. Mm-hmm. There's a rumor that there was 2 entertainment hosts that were working together.
Okay.
That were both involved with their partner. They were both married, but when they're working the Olympics, they were pretty much very public about having a fling.
Are you talking about us again, Adam? Right in front of everyone?
Yeah.
God,
Dax,
why did you have to tell everyone this information, Adam?
I said the Olympics, Dax, not the Special Olympics. All right, that was. That's it.
No, I don't know who those people are.
I can't say who the names are because it was never publicly out there, and I don't know.
It would have to be. I'm trying to think. the Olympics are always on NBC, so it'd have to be NBC, I'm guessing, but I guess that could be any local station too that covers the Olympics. So interesting.
There's a strong rumor, I guess, internally within like the entertainment news outlets that there's two hosts who are hooking up, and I don't want to say the names because, again, I only know from word of mouth. I did not see it with my eyes, but there's like the two people were being very like they weren't hiding it, but I think one of them is still with their partner, the other one is not. I don't pay too much attention to them because one of them did not want to come on the podcast or hasn't responded to my messages. All right, Dex. Another person. Another.
Oh, I got one for you. I got
one.
Nope.
Nope. Wait. Give me the first letter of the name you're going to say.
M.
Okay, I wasn't going to say that. I thought me and you were vibing really good, and you were going to say the couple I was thinking about. What was the couple you're thinking about?
Michelle Rodriguez and Cara Delevingne.
Was that were they full out going out?
They dated for a couple months back in 2014, and they were going to basketball games. They were being shot front row. They, both very publicly were loving the attention that they were getting off of them dating. This was a big deal. Do you remember there was like photos of them on the yachts partying in like San Tropez or whatever it was? But that relationship got a shit ton of press when they started dating.
Yeah, you know what? A little Adam story here. So I was at that party maybe like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Remember when there was the photos of the memes that went crazy of Cara Delevingne acting weird at a party right next to the mayor of New York City? I was at that party and we're like, dude, this girl's like, everyone at the party was watching her like, dude, Cara Delevingne is nuts. Like, who knew? Like, this is how this girl is. But
she clearly struggled with alcohol for a while. She even said the other day, she was like, if my house, like when her house caught on fire, she's like, if I wouldn't have been sober, that would have been a much different situation. Like just even mentally getting through it. So I think she's very happy to be on the other side of a lot of her problems.
Yeah. But Michelle Rodriguez, one time it was a Friday night, and I remember I was working this event, and she was at this party. And Michelle Rodriguez walks out, and there's some fans there, and she signed autographs, took photos with her. I interviewed her, and then I just started bullshitting with her. And she was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get a cab," and she's trying to get a cab. And we're in this area of New York City. I think like it was in we're like in the West Village of this random area where she couldn't get a taxi. And I was standing there after we were talking for a while. I already interviewed her, and I was talked off camera with her. I said to her, "Hey, I'll give you a ride home." She goes, "Really? Oh, yeah, that's cool." But then, again, she was leaving this party, and this, like, swanky dude came over and starts, like, I could see him from, like, a distance, like, "Hey, how am I going to plan my entrance to her? How am I going to start talking to her?" Like, you could see him, like, strategizing.
The opening line,
the opening line, and he comes over and starts talking to her a little bit. And I was like, I'll let this guy go and let him do his thing. I mean, I'm a loser hanging outside in sweatpants and stuff like that. And, this guy's like trying hard, and he's like, "Hey, listen, you're looking for a ride. I can have my car is right there. My driver, we'll give you guys a ride home. My driver." And she goes, "Oh yeah, no, I'll ride home with this guy." And I'm sitting there like, "Who, me? All right." And I gave her a ride home in my car, and she lived right on 14th Street. And like, I remember like, oh my God, here I am giving Michelle Rodriguez a ride home in my car.
You've given some crazy people a ride home in your car, dude, or to the airport.
Yeah. You know what's so bad? One time I was in a really, really, it was like pouring rain, and I saw Ryan Serhant, and he was like waving, trying to get a taxi. Ryan Serhant from $1 Million Listing in New York and Selling New York on Netflix. I saw him, like, "Ryan," and we kind of know he knows my face. And I go, "Hey," and I just didn't pick him up in my car, and I should have, but I was so embarrassed because I had so much shit in my back seat, and my buddy was sitting in the front seat that I didn't want to put him in my car, and I just like left him. I was like, "Oh man," he probably thinks I'm an asshole. I was like, "Dude, I was just really embarrassed for you to get my Honda Accord."
So I got a story. When back when I was interning, I was doing an internship for ESPN like years and years ago, even before TMZ. I was back in like, I almost want to say it was in like high school or early college. I don't remember. I was doing an internship for Unscripted with Chris Connolly was the name of the show. You know Chris Connolly, right?
Sure.
He did all the MTV shows.
Yeah. Very interesting, very intelligent guy.
So I had to give him a ride from basically the offices, the ESPN offices, over to the set. Like they were like, "Oh, do you mind just taking Chris over there?" And I was like, Do I have to? Because I drove the biggest piece of shit car on the planet. It was this old beat up Honda Civic that literally barely functioned. It had, when I would drive around, I had one headlight that was damaged. So it was like angled up. So when you would drive at night, it would like light up the trees above you. It looked like a spotlight into the sky. But the best part is this car, it had a problem with like the accelerator. So you would stop at a light or a stop sign and it would just rev. It would go so every stop sign or every light, people think that you're trying to race them because your car's just revving all the time. And I remember I would pull up to a light and someone would walk across the street in front of me. Imagine walking across the street in front of someone and you're revving your engine. So they're like, what the hell is this dude doing? Why is he like threatening to run me over? So I had to drive Chris Connolly from this, like the offices to the studio with this stupid revving car. Oh, by the way, the locks didn't work. So I'd have to like unlock one door with the key and then like crawl across and unlatch the other door by hand. It was the most embarrassing thing to have to take this celebrity freaking 10-minute drive in this just total piece of junk. And this is the same car when I started my internship with Extra. One day the lock didn't work and it was parked right out front of the studios. And I was in crutches at the time, had broken dislocated both my ankles. So I was in like boots, but I had to unlock the trunk literally in front of the office, push down the seats and crawl in through the trunk across the back seat into the front seat to unlock it because the locks were working.
So wait, what did Chris say?
And this is Mark McGrath is standing out front, like eating at the truck, and I'm crawling in through the trunk of my car just to get into it. It was the biggest beater car ever.
Well, wait, when you drove Chris, what did he say? Was he cool with it?
He didn't say a thing. I think he was kind, didn't talk crap on it, like just went with the flow.
We should get him on the podcast, actually. He's like one of those guys I'd be interested in.
I should have brought that story up to Mark McGrath and be like, do you remember the day that you were eating at the food truck and I had to crawl into the trunk of my car like a freaking idiot to get in because the locks decided not to work?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. This person has probably, I'd be surprised if they've ever used their trunk. So when you told me we started kind of going back and forth about people that we didn't know dated, Kim Kardashian, I was like, Kim's got to have dated some people that we obviously know, like the Chris Humphreys and the Kanyes and all the Pete Davidsons, but did you know or did you even remember?
I'm going to see. I feel like I know her entire dating history. So give me a clue and I'm going to see if I can answer it.
Boy band.
Nick Carter.
Close. Very close.
Damn it. I thought I actually got that one.
Nick Lachey.
I think I do remember that, but I did not come to my brain. But damn, I guess I don't know her whole lineage.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is back in 2006, and this is when she wasn't like the full Kim Kardashian that she is. I don't think to say, he even says, and I'm saying this because I Googled it, and he even kind of says to say that we dated is a literal use of a term. He says, I think they went on a date, they maybe French kiss or hooked up maybe a couple times. He goes, she left halfway through and went to the restroom, and then shockingly there were 25 paparazzi when we left the theater. I think there are other things in the play other than our little rendezvous. So I think he felt a little played by her, but I mean,
Kim, she knew how to work it even back then.
She was hustling.
You know, she was hustling. I was surprised by while I was doing a little digging of random celebrity couples was one of the first wives of football, Ciara. Do you remember she dated Bow Wow?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Dated Bow Wow before the Russell Wilson days back in 2004. I mean, and they briefly got engaged. Like they were together for a while. And I had, again, it's funny how her and Russell are like, that's how I picture them, and no relationships before, but she dated Bow Wow, and that was a big relationship because they were both obviously huge in their careers.
Yeah, I got a crazy one for you that you probably didn't really think about. Matthew McConaughey. Who's someone that Matthew McConaughey dated that you probably don't know or would have a guess? It's sort of random on his resume.
Did he date? I don't remember who he dated, honestly.
Janet Jackson.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, they met, and I think it was just like he mentioned in like an old interview, but he said like, yeah, they met, they kind of hit it off, and then they kind of just went out a little bit. And I mean, I think it just like ran its course real quick, but immediately it seems like there was attraction on both sides, and they kind of hung out, had fun, and that was it.
Okay, I've got one for you. Tom Cruise and Sofia Vergara.
Wait, is that true?
That's totally true. Back in 2005, they had a very short-lived fling, and I guess they were seen out in public a couple times, photographed out together, like on date nights, and then it like dissolved pretty quick. I guess they were set up by Will Smith.
Well, Cher and Tom Cruise.
No.
Yeah, I mean I think they just went out back in the day. Who knows how long ago? But they had a little bit of a relationship, and I guess they met at Sean Penn and Madonna's wedding, and that's where they.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you know who another person? If this person was alive still, I'm always curious what kind of star they would be, how they would look, how they'd be perceived. But this person also dated Madonna. Who do you think that was?
A-Rod?
No, A-Rod's still alive.
Oh! I honestly didn't hear the first part of it.
It's Tupac.
Who did you say they were? Oh, dead. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I literally didn't hear the dead part. I heard who dated Madonna.
Yeah, no, Tupac. I'm always curious, like, because he was a great actor, great rapper, obviously, but
yeah,
he dated Madonna. He even wrote to Madonna when he was in prison.
And Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah, Jada Pinkett. I mean, yeah, I forgot.
Okay,
okay,
I've got one that I think most people will not remember these two dated. All right.
Okay.
Sandra Bullock. Are you ready for this? And Ryan Gosling.
When? What roughly time period? When did they date? And were they both stars?
2002, they did a movie together, Murder by the Numbers, and dated for about a year after that. That's a pretty good one. Like that, those are some huge names to have dated, and most people will not remember that they dated.
That's a power couple right there.
Yeah.
How about Rosa Parks and Joey Buttafuoco? No, I'm just kidding. That was just so random. I know, that's so stupid. All right, guys, it's getting late, dude. It's already I gotta go to sleep. It's late.
You need to get to bed.
Guys, thank you for hanging out with us here at the Hollywood Raw podcast. We probably have a Facebook group. Talk to us. Give us some ideas. I mean, because I had some questions.
And by the way, we are sorry we left everyone hanging on Friday. That was a total mistake. We literally planned to do something, and then 4th of July happened, drinks happened, debauchery happened, and I have no excuses other than to say we are really sorry for leaving you guys hanging. That was not our intention. Probably the first Friday we have not released an episode, and we apologize.
Yeah, we didn't know. Like, should we let people know? Should we not? We'll see how it goes. And appreciate you guys. Like, hey, what's going on? You were concerned about us, and we appreciate.
You should have been. You should have seen us. You should have been concerned.
Yeah, but thank you guys for hanging out with us for a little bit. Go on our private Facebook group called Off the Record. Follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Red Coral. We love Red Coral. Shout out to Red Coral. It's a really good platform that our content is on. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more that came from.
Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily.
Hurry up. Come on, let's go.